Yes?
Okay.
I'm kind of loud, so I don't even really need a mic. But about 8 or 9 years ago, I was sitting in the seats that you are. This ministry, the church that facilitates it, and the women and mentors that make it happen were a lifeboat for me. It was a moment to take a sip of orange juice without having to share a single bite of a delicious breakfast casserole that I didn't have to make. It was a reprieve. It was a miracle. It's an honor to be here. I do have 8 kiddos, and in answer to the inevitable questions I get, I just really like my husband. I was told it wouldn't be possible for me to have kids, and turns out God can prove doctors wrong too. I am a potter here in Siloam, but you probably won't see my work anywhere local because I don't have the capacity to do in-person markets, because kids. Instead, I ship my work all over the world, and it has been such a kind gift. I started 5 short years ago, and it has bloomed into my garage being a full-blown studio with 5 wheels. I'm currently teaching Intro to Wheel to moms on Tuesdays and Wednesday evenings, and it has filled my cup in ways I didn't even know I needed. I think another unexpected blessing from pottery was hearing my children cheer me on. I just threw a 12-pound bowl yesterday, and every single one of them built me up in their own way, including my inquisitive son, who asked, "But Mom, what's the likelihood that it'll not survive the kiln?" I smiled and said, "Buddy, there's no guarantee, but it doesn't mean I didn't make it." He smiled back and said, "That's true, and it's huge." My children loving pottery was something I didn't know my soul needed. My husband loving pottery was something I didn't expect when I started down this journey. Now I have the honor of teaching kids and moms. I read this book, and I really loved the author's approachable way of building up mamas. I think the thing I gleaned most from the book you all are studying is the word mediocre. Mediocre is defined as of only moderate quality, not very good. While I admire this woman's rebellion against mediocre motherhood, I would be remiss to not admit that mediocre is the only word I can come up with on my hard days of motherhood. The days where you're in a hurry to get somewhere. Your hair is leftovers from committing to curl it 3 days ago. Makeup is a mad dash of bronzer so you don't look ill, and mascara. The clothes were given a sniff check to make sure that you couldn't smell any bodily fluids, neither your own or your baby's. P.S. I changed my shirt twice this morning, thanks to vomit from that guy. As you shuffle out the door with a kid in your arms, a toddler running out the door ahead of you, and a kindergartner carrying their shoes because even though you gave 54 notifications, they decided not to put their shoes on. You get the baby secured, you buckle the toddler, you ensure the kindergartner buckle correctly, you climb into your driver's seat, you fish a dehydrated french fry out from under your bum, and you go to turn the car on, only to discover the gas light immediately beeps. But then you have to decide. Be late to the destination or risk running out of gas. You choose late because when you roll up anywhere at any time in any scenario, it is anyone's guess how late or early you'll be. You've owned it. As you survive the day full of naps, tiny protests, and arguing about which dish to serve dinner on, you collapse on your bed and you get the dreaded question from your husband. How was your day? It's not until that moment that a lump forms in your throat as you let hot tears well up. What you want to say is, I woke up today and I knew it was going to be amazing. I was hoping to shower, but I needed to nurse the baby a little longer, then got barfed on. Our toddler tried to flush 14 cars down the toilet after he peed in the toilet. So I fished his favorite cars out of his urine soup. Then when I went to run errands, I honestly just hoped I didn't see anyone I knew. But instead I saw everyone and their dog at Walmart. I took a breather at nap time but felt guilty sitting for too long. Then I went to start on laundry, but the baby was hungry. Dinner was frozen pizza, so I'm quite certain the kids aren't winning any healthy dinner awards. And now as I sit on the bed, so relieved that I survived another day, I feel guilty for even feeling that way. I tried my best, and my best didn't help in any way. But instead, you say, as you push away the tears, it was a challenging day. Mediocrity is inevitable. Sometimes your days are of only moderate quality, not very good. P.S. I'm postpartum, but I literally cry at diaper commercials, so sorry for the tears. And if this is the first time you're hearing this, hear me when I say your hardest days would be someone's dream come true. Sometimes the slightest perspective shift can change your outlook on yourself, your children, and your marriage. Motherhood, in all of its mediocre glory, can be lonely. It can be the road you think is less traveled. Why? Because all moms answer, it was challenging, rather than unloading the weight they're carrying. So what happens when you compare your road less traveled to the perfect mother? You know the one I'm talking about. Her clothes are a tailored fit. Her shoes magically white, no stains. Her hair immaculate, no postpartum frizzies sticking out of her forehead. Her nails perfectly manicured. Don't even get me started on her skincare, makeup, and workout routine. It's flawless. She takes all of her vitamins, her children eat only organic, her husband makes $1 bajillion, she flashes her pearly white smile, and she smiles without a care in the world, which also reminds you that you forgot to brush your teeth again today. That mom. But would you take a moment to consider the idea that to someone else, you are that mom? They look at you and are inspired. They walk into your home and breathe a sigh of relief when they see toys scattered all over the floor and jelly dripped on your table. They sit down on your couch that has Cheerios pop out of it from the cracks and snack on Red Baron pizza as they pour their heart out to you. In a single afternoon, your words of, "Oh, sister, you are not alone," rescue them. I stand here today not welcoming the mediocrity of motherhood, but rather the messiness of motherhood. The author wrote eloquently as she spurred mothers to keep their eyes fixed on the Lord. She challenged a perspective shift from what culture tells us motherhood is allowed to look like. If you think about it, everything that our culture offers us is an escape from motherhood. And I get it. That description of a normal morning in my household has taken place over and over for the last 14 years of my motherhood. But I learned early on, I either choose to escape it or embrace it. And your children will know which choice you've made. Speaking harshly, being on our phones constantly, needing an escape, they will know. I think embracing the messiness of motherhood will be my life's greatest work. When my children get older, I cried last night when I read this. I hope they say my mom was not perfect. She failed, sometimes daily, but she always apologized to me. Equally, fostering the forgiveness between siblings, not allowing bullying, name-calling, and even taking it as far to say, would you treat your best friend the way you're treating your sibling? Because if there's one thing I've learned about siblings, fostering friendships is the exact same arduous perspective shift as embracing your motherhood journey. My challenge to you today is to be kind to your mind. I wrote on my whiteboard one day, your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. The unexpected blessing of writing those words for everyone to see was my children jumping on the trampoline, chanting them in a sing-song voice. They thought I wrote it for them, but it was my perspective shift. The Bible compares our tongue to the rudder on a ship. In James 3:4, and a small rudder makes a huge ship turn wherever the pilot chooses to go, even though the winds are strong. In the same way, the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. Your perspective shift starts with how you speak, to your children, to your husband, and to yourself. My challenge to you is to not accept a mediocre point of view. Inevitably, there will be hard days. Escaping and embracing are two very different points of view. My fear in escaping motherhood would be then what? Once the kids are grown, What will I try to escape next? My marriage? My relationship with God? But my faith in embracing motherhood could be then what? While the kids are growing, will I embrace the fact that joy and grief will pass in the hallway at the same time? If I embrace my marriage, will even the challenging days end with him holding me and saying, it sounds challenging, but you did it. I'm proud of you. What about my relationship with God? If I embrace it and humble myself in my hardest moments, will he wipe my tears and reassure me that I'm a beautiful mom? How could I not be? He created me. Mama, you are a miracle. You're not a burden. You are not your hard postpartum days. You are not your weak moments. You are not failing. You can have failing moments, but it does not mean you failed. You would have to quit completely for that to be true. You're doing a great job, and you are enough. God doesn't require you to climb mountains to receive a blessing. He doesn't ask you to wrestle angels to hear from him. He doesn't command a grand gesture just to be in his presence. He meets you right where you are, with all of your scars, wounds, hurts, and failures. He can hold those too, and he thinks you're a miracle. I'd like to end with sharing, if I can get through it. My love language is gifts. So the fact that you even said that's for me, I'm already excited. I don't even care what's in it. It could literally be nothing. I'd love the bag. Because you said it was for me. This is from my 10-year-old daughter. And she left this on my bedside table. First of all, the penmanship is excellent. Really excited about that. We're crushing cursive, just so you know. Said, and this was completely unprompted. I asked her what inspired this. And she goes, I've just been thinking about it for a few days, and I wanted to let you know this. Thank you for everything you do for me. Your kindness has impacted my life so much. You taught me how to be a kinder sibling, chores partner, and sister. I love learning how to bring my talents to the world in so many different ways. I love spending time with you in the studio and kitchen. Your meals are 5 stars. Once again, thank you. Love, Ellen. So sometimes, even in the middle, thank you, of the messiness of motherhood, there's miracles. So I would challenge you to look for the miracles in your own motherhood, because they are there. Even if on your hardest day, the only miracle is that you showed up.